Warning: you can die in your sleep. 13 quiet habits that are stealing years from your life. After 70. Did you know that you may be cultivating habits before bed that silently put your life at risk? What if by lying peacefully in your bed, you were unconsciously paving the way for a heart attack? What seems harmless in your nightly routine could be sabotaging your health without you realizing it. These questions may seem alarming, but they are extremely necessary, especially after the age of 70. The body undergoes changes that make certain nocturnal behaviors truly dangerous to its survival. Do you wake up tired even after a full night's sleep? Do you feel dizzy when you get out of bed, or have you noticed changes in your memory recently? Many seniors are unaware that sleep, a moment of recovery, can turn into a death trap due to seemingly harmless habits. In this text, we will reveal the 13 silent habits that dramatically increase the risk of death during sleep. Let's get started. 1. Silent danger, the harmless medicine that's attacking your heart. While you sleep. Taking a pill before bed has become routine for many seniors these days. Whether to combat insomnia, relieve pain, or control pressure, the nighttime use of medications seems safe. But do you really know what is happening to your body while sleeping under the effect of these drugs? The big problem is that drugs such as diazepam and clonazepam act directly on the central nervous system. This same sleep-promoting action can dangerously reduce your breathing rate during the night, causing apnea and increasing the risk of respiratory arrest. This risk is especially high in those who already suffer from pre-existing heart or lung problems. In addition, these medications increase sleepiness the next day, causing mental confusion and reducing important reflexes. Antihypertensives taken at night can cause sharp drops in blood pressure during sleep. This drop reduces blood flow to the brain and heart, increasing the risk of silent ischemia. What to do then? Never take medicine on your own, especially before bed. Talk to your doctor about safer alternatives or adjustments to medication schedules. And why not try natural techniques like meditation or calming teas to aid sleep? Speaking of nighttime hazards, did you know that your bedroom lighting can also be a silent threat? 2. The light trap. How the light in your bedroom is turning off your natural protection against disease. Many people have the habit of leaving a light on in the bedroom overnight. During the night, the brain needs total darkness to produce melatonin properly. This hormone regulates sleep and signals to the body that it is time to rest, being essential for its recovery. The presence of light, even dim, deceives the body and reduces the production of this vital substance, silently increasing the risk of serious diseases. Studies show that exposure to light during sleep increases the risk of hypertension and type 2 diabetes. In the elderly, complete darkness deprivation is associated with a higher risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. Another worrying effect is on the immune system, which becomes more fragile with advancing age. And it's not just bright light that harms. Those bluish lights from electronic devices are also harmful. The tip is simple. Turn off all lights before bed, with no exceptions or excuses for your safety. If you feel the need, use an amber nightlight, which interferes less with melatonin production. Sleeping in the dark is more than comfort. It's an essential preventative measure to protect your mind and heart. And did you think that only light could be a problem? Wait until you find out how fatal your full bladder can be. 3. The time bomb. In your kidneys. Why holding urine at night may be your last mistake. How many times have you woken up during the night wanting to go to the bathroom, but prefer to hold on? With advancing age, the functioning of the kidneys becomes more sensitive and vulnerable to continuous overloads. When we hold urine for a long time, we increase the pressure inside the bladder, with serious consequences. This pressure can lead to the backflow of urine towards the kidneys, favoring persistent urinary infections. The sensation of pain when urinating and the increased urgency during the day are signs that you may be silently harming your urinary system. What many don't realize is that frequently withholding urine can also affect sleep quality. Interrupted sleep is directly linked to disorders such as depression and memory loss. Many elderly people avoid getting up to urinate for fear of falls, especially if the environment is dark. Therefore, it is essential to adopt simple safety measures, such as keeping a nightlight on the way, installing grab bars near the bed, and wearing slippers. Avoiding this simple habit can protect your kidneys, improve your sleep quality, and preserve your autonomy. Get ready to discover how a seemingly simple move can turn into a death trap. 4. Deadly risk, the simple movement that makes thousands of elderly people lose their lives during the night. Getting out of bed in the middle of the night sounds simple, but it can be a minefield for seniors. Have you ever felt dizzy, darkened vision, or imbalance when getting out of bed quickly? These signs may be a consequence of a problem known as postural hypotension, common after 70. It is a sudden drop in blood pressure when changing positions, especially when standing up. Studies show that nocturnal falls are among the main causes of fractures in the elderly, with hip fractures being the most dangerous. A simple fall can result in hospitalizations, loss of mobility, and in severe cases, lead to death. Getting up slowly is the first essential attitude to avoid this silent risk during the night. When you wake up, sit up in bed first and wait a few seconds before getting up completely. This time is enough for blood pressure to stabilize and blood to circulate properly. Avoid completely dark environments, as this further compromises balance and increases risk. Wearing non-slip footwear and fixed mats also helps prevent potentially fatal slips. And speaking of adequate rest, did you know that your pillow may be compromising your breathing? 5. Suffocating in silence, how your pillow may be blocking vital oxygen to your brain. The pillow, a common item in our routine, is rarely seen as a potential threat to health. Many seniors have been using the same type of pillow for years, not realizing that their needs have changed. A pillow that is too high or too low can force the neck into a position that compromises the airway. This extra quiet effort during hours of sleep can overload the cardiovascular system and drastically increase the risk of heart problems. In addition, an inadequate pillow can compress veins and arteries in the neck, reducing brain flow. This reduction can cause small brain ischemia during sleep, increasing the risk of silent stroke. Waking up with a headache, dry mouth, or an upset throat are warning signs that should not be ignored. Experts recommend changing the pillow every year or two to ensure adequate support. For people over 70 years old, the ideal is a pillow that keeps the neck aligned with the spine. Orthopedic or height-adjustable models are safer options to ensure an unobstructed airway. Never underestimate the impact a simple pillow can have on your respiratory and cardiovascular health. And since we're talking about sleep environment, the temperature of your bedroom can also be a threat. 6. The death. Thermometer, the room temperature. That's overwhelming your heart without warning. On cold days, it is common to want a warm and cozy room to sleep peacefully, but is sleeping in a very hot environment really safe, especially after the age of 70? During sleep, the body naturally lowers its internal temperature to reach the restorative stages. When the room is very hot, this process of thermal regulation is abruptly interrupted. Studies show that very hot environments at night can increase heart rate and raise blood pressure, creating a perfect storm. In addition, excessive heat can cause nighttime dehydration, an underestimated problem in the elderly. When sweating during sleep, the body loses important fluids, and the blood tends to become more viscous. This thickening of the blood increases the risk of thrombosis, stroke, and silent heart attacks at night. To protect health, the ideal is to keep the room at a temperature between 18 and 22 degrees. Avoid blankets that are too heavy and prefer lightweight, breathable fabrics such as cotton for your comfort. Sleeping in a well-ventilated environment at the ideal temperature is a vital measure of cardiac protection. And speaking of protection, have you ever considered how your sleeping position may be affecting your brain? 7. Positional hazard, the way you lie down, may be programming a silent stroke. Sleep seems to be the safest time of the day, when we finally rest and recover. But for those over 70, even the position in which they lie can pose a risk. Sleeping on your back, for example, can be especially dangerous for elderly people with apnea. The consequence is that the heart and brain begin to work under pressure, dangerously increasing the risk of arrhythmias and strokes. Even those who sleep on their sides should be aware of risks that may go unnoticed. Always sleeping on the right side can hinder venous return, creating an additional strain on the heart. The position most recommended by experts is sleeping on the left side, which has multiple benefits. In this posture, the heart works with less effort and the blood circulates more easily through the body. Use a pillow between your knees to align your spine and prevent back pain. Place another pillow behind your back to prevent you from turning over in your sleep inadvertently. Changing the position you sleep in can make a huge difference to your cardiovascular and brain health. Now, let's talk about a habit that many believe to be healthy, but that can be a trap. 8. The hydration trap. How the healthy habit of drinking water at night turns into a fatal risk. Drinking water is essential for health. We all know that we must stay hydrated daily. But drinking plenty of water before bed can paradoxically put your life at risk after 70. As we age, the bladder's ability to store urine decreases significantly. This means that by ingesting large amounts of liquids before bed, we will have to eliminate them during the night. And therein lies the danger. By standing up repeatedly, the elderly expose themselves to high risks of dizziness and potentially fatal falls. This type of fall is one of the leading causes of fractures and hospitalizations in people over 70. In addition, fragmented sleep, due to constant trips to the bathroom, compromises nighttime recovery. The good news is that small changes in routine can avoid this seemingly simple problem. During the day, drink plenty of water, but at night, reduce your fluid intake in the hours before bed. Also keep the path to the bathroom well lit and safe, with supports close to the bed. Sleeping well is essential, and controlling nighttime hydration can mean more peaceful and safer nights. If you think what you drink before bed is important, wait until you discover the dangers of nighttime eating. 9. The last dinner. Foods that turn into heart poison. During your sleep. A tasty meal at the end of the day seems like the perfect end to a restful night's sleep. For those over 70 years old, this habit can be much more dangerous than you think. With advancing age, the metabolism slows down, and the cardiovascular system becomes more sensitive to overloads. Eating heavy foods before bed forces your body to keep working when it should rest. Meanwhile, the heart, which should be resting, is forced to pump more blood into the digestive system, creating a silent overload. This extra effort can generate blood pressure spikes, arrhythmias, and even silent heart attacks. In addition, high-fat evening meals increase the risk of gastroesophageal reflux during sleep. This reflux is also related to episodes of sleep apnea, further overloading the heart. Avoid eating in the 3 hours before bed, giving your body time to process food properly. Give preference to light meals with vegetables and lean proteins such as grilled chicken or fish for dinner. Proper eating before bed can be the difference between waking up refreshed or not waking up at all. Have you ever considered how your cell phone may be affecting your brain during sleep? The next topic will surprise you. 10. Nighttime radiation. How your cell phone is bombarding your brain with dangerous waves all night long. Sleeping with your cell phone next to your bed has become an almost universal habit these days. The first danger is constant exposure to the blue light emitted by the cell phone screen during sleep. Blue light inhibits the production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for inducing deep, restful sleep. This deficiency significantly increases the risks of cardiovascular disease, cognitive changes, and even dementia, especially in the elderly. There is also a warning about continuous exposure to electromagnetic waves emitted by cell phones during sleep. Some studies suggest that this exposure over time may impact the functioning of the nervous system. Another point of concern is the indirect risk of insomnia and anxiety caused by the proximity of the device. To reduce these risks, leave your cell phone away from the bed, preferably outside the bedroom or in airplane mode. The ideal is to keep the sleep environment free of electronic stimuli that may interfere with the quality of rest. Protecting sleep is protecting the mind and heart, especially when both are already more fragile due to age. And since we're talking about companions in the bedroom, did you know that even your pet can be a risk? 11. Treacherous companionship. Why your pet in bed can be an invisible enemy for your lungs. Sleeping with pets is comforting, especially for seniors living alone at home. But for people over 70, this seemingly harmless practice hides respiratory risks. The first problem is related to animal hair and dandruff that accumulates on bedding. Studies show that sleeping with animals can reduce the quality of inhaled air, increasing the risk of respiratory problems in the elderly. In addition to the hair, animals carry mites and waste that are transferred to the bed during the night. Prolonged exposure to these irritants can cause inflammation of the airways and compromise breathing. Another important point is that many animals move around at night, disturbing the owner's sleep. This fragmented sleep reduces periods of deep rest, which are essential for the body's recovery. Ideally, the animal should have its own sleeping place, close to the bed, but not on it. Keeping the room clean and washing bedding regularly also helps reduce respiratory risks. Love for animals is valuable, but it should not compromise your respiratory health during restful sleep. And now let's talk about how a simple piece of clothing can compromise your entire circulatory system. 12. The night tourniquet. How your socks are secretly forming deadly clots. While you sleep, wearing socks to sleep is common, especially in elderly people who feel cold feet at night. The problem is not in the socks themselves, but in the type of sock and the pressure they exert on the legs. Tight socks act as a silent tourniquet, blocking blood flow for long hours. This combination of factors dramatically increases the risk of clots forming in the legs during sleep, which can lead to thrombosis. When a clot forms, it can break off and travel through the bloodstream to the lungs. In the lungs, it causes pulmonary embolism. In the brain, it can cause a stroke, both potentially lethal conditions. The problem is that many seniors don't realize that their socks are tight, as sensitivity decreases. Red marks on the ankles after removing the socks are a clear sign of excessive compression. If you need to wear socks to sleep, opt for models without elastic that do not compress circulation. Healthy circulation during sleep is key to avoiding life-threatening complications in older adults. Now let's talk about the most ignored warning sign that might be heralding a danger every night. 13. The ultimate alarm, the nighttime signal that 93% of people ignore until it's too late. Snoring at night is seen by many as something natural, especially as we age, but this sound can hide a serious and silent disorder, sleep apnea, especially dangerous after 70. Apnea occurs when breathing is interrupted several times during the night, even for seconds. It is usually the partner who notices that the person snores loudly, pauses in breathing, and sometimes wakes up choked during the night. This constant stress during sleep can lead to increased blood pressure, arrhythmias, and heart attacks. In addition to apnea, persistent insomnia is another dangerous sign often overlooked by older people. Lack of deep sleep is directly linked to cognitive decline, memory loss, and depression. If you snore frequently or wake up tired, seek medical help for a proper diagnosis. Performing a sleep test, such as polysomnography, can identify nocturnal breathing disorders. Sleeping well is not a luxury, it is a vital necessity for physical and mental health after 70. And now that you know the 13 nighttime habits that put your life at risk, it's time to reflect. Sleep is a sacred time of physical and mental repair vital to your survival and quality of life. It is during the night that the body regenerates, the heart slows down, and the brain organizes everything that has been experienced. The truth is that there is no magic formula for healthy sleep, especially after the age of 70. What exists are daily choices, small changes that added together generate great transformations in your health. Swapping a heavy snack for a light meal or turning off the light before bed can save your life. And most importantly, you are not alone in this journey of taking care of your health during sleep. Prevention is an act of love for yourself and for those who have wanted your company for many years. Nobody just wants to live longer. We all want to live with quality, with autonomy and lucidity. And the quality of your sleep is one of the fundamental pillars for this long and healthy life that you deserve. Turn your bedroom into a temple of rest, not a quiet battlefield that can cost you your life. Remember, a good night's sleep today can be the decisive step towards many years of full life tomorrow. You deserve to age healthily, with dignity, and with tranquility, starting with a safe and restful sleep.